This is Chris Stevenson, and this is The Network. How you doing, Chris?
What's going on, Pat?
Well, we've got a couple of things we want to talk about here on The Network. Again, the crisis in Haiti. What are your thoughts? A few negative comments by Pat Robertson, and who was the other person that made the other negative comment?
Rush
Limbaugh.
Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. I'm very offended how these guys seem to wait in the corner somewhere for disaster, and when the disaster affects especially mostly black people.
Right.
Pat Buchanan's done the same thing. They make these ridiculous remarks that bring in biblical references and this basically winds up as some pseudo biblical philosophical stuff,
apocalyptic sensationalism.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. And you would think these are middle-aged men who should know better, but they just keep doing it.
It's unbelievable. How can you do that with the amount of suffering that we're seeing on a widespread group of people?
Yeah.
We're talking about millions of people that have been affected that were suffering before the earthquake.
Yeah.
The earthquake has brought attention to a problem that was already at Haiti.
Right.
And Haiti has suffered at the hands of imperialism and colonialism and political ambitions of nations around this world for a number of years.
Right. Now, if you look on the web, there's a guy, I forget his name, but he's saying that Haiti was better off when they were colonialized, and their problem is they became independent too soon. They should have. He says, unlike Jamaica and Dominican places like that, they kicked their oppressors out a little too soon, and that left them exposed to a lot of chaos and everything. First of all, you can never get rid of colonialism too soon.
Never.
There is no such thing as that.
That's bizarre.
It just doesn't work. What's been going on is that people were so angry at Haiti for doing that. The West was so upset with Haiti that they refused to have any dealings with them at all.
I think that's the main thing. It's because the Haitian people, were really the African people that in Haiti kicked the daylights out of the French.
Yeah, exactly.
So because we kicked you out and refused to accept oppression and colonialism and your imperialism, you have made sure that the good people of Haiti have suffered behind this.
And then blamed it on the Haitians, saying they're uncivilized. We're going to stop trade with them, we're going to stop resources from going in, and then point the finger years later. Oh, look at that. They're in chaos. See, they're like animals. They're savages. No. They are no more savages than what anybody would be under similar circumstances.
There's not a free trade. There is a type of economic embargo, unsaid economic embargo against Haiti.
Yes.
But there's a said economic embargo because Cuba's a communist nation.
Right.
That is a stated economic embargo, but the United States and other nations have not participated in bringing Haiti into the world marketplace as they have other nations.
You can call
that's the biggest problem.
Oh yeah, you can call that the invisible embargo.
Their natural resources of coffee and sugarcane is not getting the profitability that it deserves, nor is it getting the influx of capital to make those natural things profitable so Haiti can take care of itself because they kicked the oppressor out.
They kicked the oppressor out. And they should have kicked the oppressor out. The oppressor, gold used to be a natural mineral in Haiti.
Right.
They siphoned all of that out. So what were they good for after that? You got coffee and other stuff going there, but gold is prime. They went in there without anybody's permission and just took what they wanted.
Right.
And they have the nerve to be angry because they got kicked out, which they should have been. They shouldn't have been allowed to go in there in the first place. So it's a very sad situation. Haiti already physically, I stated before in Policy and Prejudice that they're on a fault line. I was wrong. They're on two fault lines. Okay? And they just have that aftershock that was 6.1 on the
after the initial quake.
Yeah, after the initial quake. So they can't seem to catch a break from that standpoint.
All right, let's move towards health care, the recent defeat of the Democratic candidate in Massachusetts. People are saying that this is the end of the Obama administration. That's all hype.
Yes.
And we've got to look at this for real. There are 47 million people in this country that do not have health care. The conservatives and the Republicans and the health insurance carriers that have an interest in making sure that 47 million people's primary physician is the emergency room want to keep health care reform from coming into power.
Right, right.
And conservatives and Republicans have invested a lot of money into this, and people, citizens are not making the demand. Why is that?
No.
Is it because of the hype? Have they done a good job?
It's the misinformation, for one thing. It's a lot of that's because of the hype. For any time, and understand the history of conservatives, anything involving appropriating funds toward the poor,
right,
or goods and services toward the poor, they have labeled it
socialism,
communism, liberalism,
right?
And now they're trying to say Obama's. They're likening Obama to what they are, fascists. They're kind of like neo-fascists,
right?
And they're putting this on Obama. Okay.
But why? How have they done this, Chris? This is the thing that gets me. If you walk into an emergency room right now and you're bleeding, they're not going to tell you if you don't have insurance to get out. They're not going to do that.
No.
They have to treat you.
Yes.
And after they treat you, even though you don't have insurance, those of us that have insurance, our premiums go up because to make up for the difference of people that are using the emergency room as their primary carrier.
Yeah.
How has the hype machine refused to do this? And they've almost taken the public option off the table.
Yes.
To make sure that the prices don't go down and that there is competitive competition. And the hype machine, the lobbyists, the special interests have done a tremendous job with this.
Yes.
Why have people failed to educate themselves on health care reform?
I think people have to take it upon themselves to educate themselves. One thing about it, as you alluded to, is the right has done this, and they're fueled with spite. Okay, Dennis Kucinich said years ago during the Bush administration that we have always had we've always been paying for universal health care.
Correct.
We just haven't been getting it.
That's the problem.
Okay.
Isn't that key?
Yeah, that's
and
very key.
People don't understand that.
People don't understand.
If you're sick, they have to treat you.
They have to treat you.
If you are ill, you're going to be treated.
Yes. Obama is just making it official.
Yes.
That's it.
Universal health care is already in place. But they're making maximum amount of money on those that are uninsured, that their primary physician becomes an emergency rather than getting preventive care,
ongoing care.
Yeah. That's key.
Yeah.
And that is why this nation has the 31st ranked health care in the world. It's not the best.
Right.
And the conservatives say, oh, it's the best health care. No, it's not.
No.
Not even close.
No.
And Massachusetts, of all states, right?
Mm-hmm.
They elected this guy. They already have universal health care.
Yeah.
Massachusetts already have universal health care.
Yep.
So Brown, Massachusetts is not even dealing with this issue. No. This is the other 40. I think Hawaii and Massachusetts have universal
This is
health
how effective the rights machine is. They can actually convince you that something that you've been benefiting from for decades isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's like, say, for example, you can have a brand new car, you can drive it for a year, you never took it to the shop. You'll say, oh, that car's not been working, that's not a good car for you. Oh, this car hasn't given me any problem. Oh, no, it's been breaking down on everything. No, it hasn't. This car hasn't been taking any money out my pocket than any other vehicle normally would. Okay? It's under warranty.
Right.
Oh, no. We want you to get rid of that warranty and use this. They're telling you to stop doing something you already know is right.
Right. They've done a good job, Chris. We're coming to the end of the network's segment this week. We'll be back here next week. I'm Pat Freeman, the Mighty Oba, and this is Chris Stevenson, and this is the network. We'll see you next week. All right, Chris.